When it comes to the Bumblebees, it's a bit tough to find out what their true identity is. Let's see what they have done. The team would make their first appearance in the Habino tournament for 2018, and if they would do pretty good, taking first in 4 out of the 8 events, which would play a huge part in them winning said tournament. This would then lead them to getting invited to the 2019 Marble League Showdown, in which the team would consist of Bramble. Hold on a second. Okay, the actual names for the marbles are Bumble, Bee, Swax, Honey, and Bumble. The Bumblebees would then partake in the 2019 Showdown, where they didn't really do anything too of note. They weren't good, but they weren't terrible either. They did just enough to avoid the bottom 4 and headed to the 2020 qualifiers. The 2020 qualifiers have arrived, and the Bumblebees get off to a hot start with a silver in balancing. It's a good thing they have that silver because the next 3 qualifying events were nowhere near as good as that. Despite this, the Bumblebees would be on the good side of a 4-way tiebreaker and would make their way into the main league for 2020. The Hornets made it as well, but we'll get there soon. As for how the Bees did, it was mostly a forgettable experience. Nothing really sparked when it came to the Bees for that year, besides Honey taking second in high jump. Only consolation is that the Bumblebees didn't take last once. Still, the Bees would finish in a somewhat underwhelming 11th. But hey, it's better than whatever the Hornets did. Marula One Season 2 is around the corner, and the Bumblebees have sent in Honey and Bumble. As for how they would start, it would be pretty good. 3 4th place finishes would keep the team afloat, and aside from a DNQ at Arctic Circuit, the Bumblebees would be in a solid position heading into the second half. As for how they would do in the second half, 3 points.
3. Take it or leave it.
Seriously, after that race forest performance by Honey, the Bumblebees would go scoreless for the rest of the season. They had a chance to score a decent amount of points at Misty Mountain, but how did that turn out? In terms of the 2021 qualifiers, the Bumblebees would be in a decent position. Despite 2 middle ground showings in Swing Wave and Relay, they would get a 3rd place in Funnels by Honey, and they would be in 6th after the 3rd event. Then would come Sand Rally, where the bumbling tumbling experience takes over. Bumble finishes in 11th, and the Bumblebees would miss out on the league. In terms of their performance in the Showdown, it was nothing to worry about. Well, aside from Bumble taking 11th in Sprint. 2 medals in team events and some decent performances, and the Bumblebees would finish out on 4th. As for Marula One Season 3, the Bees would go on to replace Honey with Swags. As for how their season would go, I don't really know what to make of it. The team would showcase some impressive feats like Bumble taking second at Honey Dome, both Bumble and Swags combining for 3 fastest laps, and both marbles having 2 scoreless races during the season. The Bees were 17th heading into the final race, and Bumble turned on the Jets, finishing strong in 4th and giving the team their 3rd and final fastest lap of the season. Bumble finishes 15th, Swags takes 33rd, and the Bees as a duo would finish 11th. Prior to the 2022 qualifiers, it would be announced that the Bumblebees are merging with their rivals in the Hornets. Bumble and Bee would be off the team in place of Hive and Stinger. As for how the team would do in the 2022 qualifiers, things would turn out pretty well for the team, with top 3 finishes in both climbing and hurdles. Add a few middle pack finishes from balancing and triathlon, and you get yourselves the Bumblebees in the 2022 main league. As for how things would go, they would be consistently solid, finishing decently well in most events and even obtaining 3 bronze medals, all of them being contributed to by 1 or 2 new Hornets. Prior to the last 2 events, the Bumblebees only had 2 bottom 4 finishes and were in 6th. Then comes the team getting completely eviscerated in Collision and Bumble doing their bumbling tumbling in elimination race, and the Bumblebees would drop to 9th overall. Still a decent season despite the last 2 events going against them. For Season 4 of Marula One, Swags would get replaced by Stinger, and the season itself would be a complete disaster for the Bumblebees. Most of their races were either underwhelming or downright uneventful. Prior to Casino Square, the team only had 1 race in the top half, and half of their races would be scoreless. There is a slight consolation, however, as for the 2nd season in a row, Bumble would end the season strong, this time taking silver at Casino Square, putting a band-aid on a rather horrific season. Bumble may have finished top half overall, but they didn't perform anything like it. At Stinger, they could only score in 3s and 0s. Truly insulting. Bumble finished 17th, Stinger finished 38th, and the Bees as a team finished 16th. After the 2022 league had concluded, it would be announced that the Bumblebees are hosts for 2023. How would the team do that year? Actually, pretty good. They had a really good first half, which included a 3-event stretch of 70 points. After Bumble's silver in the 5-meter sprints, the Bees never left the top 3 for the remainder of the season. Although they fell back a bit with back-to-back bottom 3 placements in final endurance and balancing, the Wing Stingers still had something to be proud of. They would kick the second half off with a silver in triathlon set by Stinger. Before the final event, the rest of their second half wouldn't be as good, but it would still be interesting as they are still in contention. It would all come down to the Honeydome, a track in which Bumble has performed really strong at before. And they would do so here as well, performing really strong and with half the Bumblebees provisionally leading for most of the race. There's a close battle with Red Eye, but with how things are looking, there's a chance the Bumblebees could pull it off. They could be the first team to win the league that they are hosting. All they need to do is hold on for one more lap and they will accomplish their goal.
Red Eye with a nice head of steam here on lap 13, the final lap. Red Eye tries to make the move through the B dance, goes outside, but is sealed off. We'll have more opportunities. Bumble fighting like crazy, but Red Eye gets it done. Crazy Cat's Eyes have taken the lead and put themselves into prime position to win the championship. Red Eye onto the straightaway. They've fallen back from 1st to 11th in the standings, and now Crazy Cat's Eyes have clawed their way back to become Marble League champions.
Your moment, your glory, all for it to be ripped away like that. Still, it was a pretty strong season by the Bees, and it is the best that a host team has ever done up to date. As Marble Survivor 100 rolls around, the Bees would send in their reserve swags. They would start off alright, but as they get used to the tournaments, they would do much better and better, consistently being around the top of the standings every week. And as they keep flowing by, suddenly they have made it to the final week. And would you know it, the Bees have a chance to earn a podium spot, and that they do. Though they might not have won, it was still a strong performance overall from Swags as they would finish 3rd. A really good result from a Marble that does not get a lot of opportunities. Marula One Season 5 is around, and the Bees are back with Bumble and for some reason Stinger. The first half of the season would be a tale of two marbles. On one hand, Bumble is performing consistently solid, and Stinger...
You're simply out of your depth.
But yeah, in terms of the second half of the season, things would flow the same for Bumble, while Stinger would actually improve. A pretty good showing at P-My Tunnel alongside obtaining pole position at Midnight Bay and getting 4th in the race. It's not usually something you see from a Hornets marble. Thanks to their consistency, Bumble would finish 9th in the individual standings while Stinger would finish top half overall at 20th. And despite them not earning any medals, the Bees would finish 8th overall, which is pretty impressive. Due to their efforts from 2023, the Bees would all qualify for the 2024 Winter League. Unfortunately for that year, the Bees would not be as consistently solid. For most of the year, they would find themselves in the bottom 4. They slightly lessened the damage with a silver in mountain climbing and a bronze at Snow Snake, but it wasn't enough. The rest of the league would do just as much as them, and it did not help that the team had 6 bottom 4 placements, including the final event where Stinger continued the team's elimination race struggles, finishing 15th. And that's where the Bees as a team would finish overall for that year. Truly disappointing coming off of a strong hosting year. Marble Survival is back, and so is Swags. And like last time, Swags would have a really strong season, going at a strong pace, never letting up, so on. They wouldn't finish on a podium this time as they would instead take 6th, which is still a pretty strong season by Swags. We have arrived for the 2025 Marble League, and the Bumblebees... I'm sorry, what? Okay, after a slight fallback in relay, the Bumblebees locked in for the next 3 events with top 10 finishes and would easily make their way in for the 2025 main league. For how they would do in the first half of the year, there wouldn't be any noteworthy performances, aside from taking last in rodeo. The Bees' first half made it just seem like they're just there, though they did have a 4-event stretch of top half finishes to end the first half. They'll go on to continue that streak in the second half for 5 more events, which included bronze and block pushing and a silver in balancing. And all of a sudden, the Bees are in 4th? With how this league is going, the Bees could either make a quick rise to the top or fall back down like they did at the end of 2022. They chose to do the latter, with 10 points in the last 3 events, which included yet another disappointing showing in an elimination race. The Bees will end up finishing 10th. They must not like jazz apparently. After a 7-year hiatus, the Habino tournament is back and the Bees are here to win it. They'll have a pretty good first half, securing 2 bronzes and a silver, and would be in 2nd. But in terms of their second half, it wouldn't be as good, as they would secure no medals and they will drop from 2nd to 6th to end the tournament. In terms of Marula One Season 6, the Bumble Stinger duo will make their return. As for Bumble, they will have another great first half, all of their finishes being in the top 6, including a bronze at Sakura Garden. And as for Stinger, we're going to pretend Savage Speedway didn't happen and just move on. As for the second half, Bumble would have 2 okay races and would find themselves individually in the top 10. And aside from a really strong race at Misty Mountain where they finished 4th, Stinger would have 2 underwhelming races at Orion's Belt and Castle Howe. They would finish 24th, and the Bees as a duo would finish in 6th. While Marula One Season 6 was rolling around, there would be another tournament taking place called Impact Marble Racing, and the Bees would send in Honey. After a rather uneventful first event, they would turn a second gear for the rest of the tournament. 5 of the remaining 7 events would feature them scoring over 20 points, and as for the final event, they would close out strong, securing bronze. Honey would end up finishing in an impressive 8th. Then comes Iron Marble, a tournament that features every marble from the team. Well, every marble except for the one marble that's actually good at this tournament. That's what happens when you're a reserve. As for how the actual tournament would go, the Bees would be decent. The first batch of events would go pretty good for them, but after that, they would just barely survive over and over and over until Event 5. Their close calls would eventually get to them and they would finish 16th. Not bad, but it's not on the level of Spikes for Marble Survival. As for when we have last seen the Bumblebees, it will be the Marble Collision Underleague. They will be challenged by the Minty Maniacs, another Habino team. And like most teams that get called out in this Underleague, the Bees would win, handling their business against the Minties with ease. And that's all there is left to talk about when it comes to the Bees. It's still a bit difficult to find out what they truly are. They are a decent team, but it's like they're around the Shining Swarm Snowballs range. Well, current Snowballs at least. Maybe we could throw Blackjacks in there too. Next time we'll see them is the 2026 league. Will they flap their wings into the main league or get stuck at their own honeycomb? We'll have to wait and see. But until then, buzz off.
I'm excited to see this one, and off they go very quickly. And we've got 1 Minty Maniacs.
The only thing I want to use right now is the exit.